heard your bugle playing, sweetest music to my ears. And I'm not afraid to say it, I'm close to tears. We'll run away, and I'll always believe until my dying day, my dying day. I say I'm not sorry to cast you off as courteously, because when you talk so realistically, the thrill of love has gone for me. Well, now, you know I heard your bugle playing, sweetest music to my ears. I'm not afraid to say it, I'm close to tears. We'll run away, and I'll always believe until my dying day, my dying day. I got a tiger in my tank. I'll keep your picture neath the dashboard. I've got a feeling in my bones that when I call you won't be home. You'll be out there in the twilight, waiting for the night to fall, fall, fall. You know you've turned my world around, and now I'm hanging upside down. And if you just give me your key, I would accept it graciously, graciously. You say your youth is for the taking. You say I'll get there in the end. There's some confusion in my mind as to what there is to find there. Still I want you more than ever, though you make me feel so small. Small, small. You know you've turned my world around. upside down. And if you just give me your key, I would accept it graciously, graciously. Violins will play for you while you sit and roll your deep blue eyes. 1,000 to win, 1,000 you lose, but I'll be a consolation prize. All you do is pardon me. I wore my fringe like Roger McGuinn's. I wore it open to impress, so frightfully camp it made you laugh. Tomorrow buy myself a dress. How ludicrous. I don't mean to pry, but didn't that guy crumple up your face 1,000 times? He made you cry. I'll be a consolation prize, although I know enough for you. I'll never be man enough for you. I'll never be man enough for you. I'll never be man enough for you. For you. For you. When they took it away from here, honesty that could not have been too much more than me. You know one must be strong, for without the weather will change within remain. Unchain the things for which we strive for happiness, I guess. When you lay it on the ground, Felicity, I guess so, Felicity, I guess so, Felicity. Oh, I've lost it there. So long since I've played it. But anyway, now I'm in a stupor behind the scenes, which say this way is Felicity. I guess so, Felicity. I guess so, Felicity. I guess so, Felicity. I guess so. Happiness. Whoa, happiness. Whoa, happiness.
It's Earshot on Nighttime Radio Scotland, Radio 5 and Radio Wales until midnight with John Cavanagh at this end. And tonight, a real hero of the Scottish music scene for many years to play for us live in the studio. And we'll talk to him first. We can now welcome Edwyn Collins. Hi.
Hi, John.
Now, there's been a lot of interest in your older material at the moment with the reissue of the Orange Juice stuff and also some old postcard stuff reappearing. How do you feel about that at this distance? I mean, back in those days, the sort of punk ethic was that it was today's disposable pop music. How do you feel about it coming back 10 years and more on?
Well, we never subscribed to that notion that it was disposable pop. In fact, we always thought that we were making classic pop music, although in retrospect that was perhaps a little bit arrogant of us to think so at the time, because some of it's fairly ropey. But, I mean, I got quite heavily involved, particularly... well, I felt it was a necessity to get involved in the Polydor compilation, although I was obviously as well heavily involved in the postcard one, because they'd previously done a compilation called In a Nutshell, which was shoddy to say the least.
Now, taking you back to those early days, what's your memories now of the formation of Postcard Records back in the late 70s, early 80s? Special memories of that?
Yeah, well, it was very, very ad hoc, you know. It was a kind of hobby. It was very much a cottage industry. People tend to romanticise the past and look through the past with rose-coloured glasses. It was a time when it wasn't particularly stressful, because we weren't businessmen in any way. We're looking on it almost as a child would look on a stamp collection or something like that. We became quite obsessive about it, and we paid great attention to detail, rather as a child would pay great attention to perforations, watermarks and other things on stamps.
Would you say that it would be more difficult or less difficult for a band to do now what you did in those days?
Well, I think if they were playing a similar kind of music, it would possibly be more difficult in the current climate, because all that I ever hear from the major record companies and people I've been working with in my role as a producer is talk of the recession and how badly it's affected the music industry this time around. I mean, people say, oh, we had a recession in the early 80s when Postcard was initially formed, and but at that time, of course, you had the aftermath of the punk period, and there was a lot of album sales generated by the impact that punk had.
In more recent years, of course, akin to the BMX Bandits and the McCluskey Brothers, you've got quite a following in Japan. How did that take off?
Well, there's a whole movement in Japan that they call Neo-Ako, which is short for Neo-Acoustic. And I wouldn't take that too literally, because what they mean by acoustic is actually semi-acoustic guitars. All the perpetrators of this movement, the Japanese perpetrators, have Gretsch guitars, and strangely enough, they have exactly the same equipment that Orange Juice had when they started. So it's almost like there's a few groups that I'd say were to Orange Juice what the Ruttles are to the Beatles over in Japan. I know it sounds hard to believe, but when we went over there, we found it very, very flattering, you know, and it made you feel almost like a pop star again.
What kind of audiences are you playing to there?
Well, you're playing to, well, I don't know what other people are playing to, but I'm playing to about 700 people a night, you know, and in various venues in Tokyo, Osaka, Kawasaki, places like that.
So it's not just a localised thing, it's a following in many cities around the country.
Well, unlike this country, they've what they've done is, I suppose, there's this broad category which is indie music, but the Japanese seem to have honed in specifically on postcard influenced pop. You know, the main perpetrators were a group called Flipper's Guitar, who were called Flipper's Guitar after the Dolphins on the first Orange Juice LP, who write songs about James Kirk, the first Orange Juice guitarist, and it's very bizarre indeed. Their album, Three Cheers for Our Side, their debut album, went platinum in Japan. So, you know, it's not a marginalised movement. So when you go there, it's all very bizarre, and it's largely through the efforts of this group that we seem to be popular in Japan.
It must be particularly strange to know that what they're singing about and the kind of thing that they've recreated is exactly you. Is this something you can hear on Japanese radio as well? How does the word spread?
Well, I don't know, because I didn't have a chance to listen to Japanese radio, but I've met the songwriters from this group who have now actually split up, and we were supported by a group called Bridge, which is another Orange Juice song, and I met all the people involved in this neo-acoustic movement, and to be honest, well, one thing that I had kind of jet lag coupled with culture shock, because I'd never been to Japan before, and it was like arriving on another planet. I felt like a stranger in a strange land. But the main thing was that everyone was very, very courteous over there, very polite, and they had a real genuine interest in what we'd done all those years ago.
Well, the first song you're going to do for us tonight is Dying Day. Tell me a little bit about that before we go into it.
Well, this is a song that's featured in its original form on the Ostrich Churchyard LP. It's very much a kind of period song. It was written just after Simply Thrilled Honey, Orange Juice's third single. It's kind of a morose song with a reference to the old Henry VIII song, Greensleeves.
Dying Day. That's Edwyn Collins playing for us tonight in Earshot. Lovely song there. Now, about a year ago, got a single from the Irish band Our House, the first issue of Endless Art, and discovered your name credited on there as producer, and also subsequently you've turned up with Frank and Walters.
Right.
Two fine Irish bands. Now, did you always see yourself getting involved in producing other artists, or is this something that's happened kind of by accident for you?
No, only Irish artists. It happened by accident. A house supported me on my UK tour of 1987, where I got to know them, and then they were looking for a producer for the LP they made for Setanta Records, which is a label that specialises in Irish rock music. And via Setanta and my involvement with the house, I then got involved with other acts on the roster, like the Divine Comedy, and the Frank and Walters is the most recent thing I've been working on. I've just finished their LP.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the whole thing of working with other people's projects instead of having a vision for your own songs?
Well, I wasn't doing it totally philanthropically. I mean, obviously, before the house signed to EMI, it wasn't a big budget album, as you can imagine, and I liked the discipline of working with a small budget. I mean, I didn't do it for mercenary reasons. I did it purely, and B, I wanted to see how other people's creative processes worked, you know, and I learnt a lot from it, and the group were very well prepared, particularly the guitarist. I mean, we didn't need to go for too many takes of things, because they realised that time was of the essence, and through necessity, being the mother of invention, I think we came up with quite an interesting LP.
Has the phone been ringing since? Are you suddenly in demand as a producer? Do you think this is going to be something that's really going to take off for you?
Actually, yeah, I'm in demand as a producer. I can't be too specific as to who I've been approached by, but there was one particular Manchester group, and I decided that possibly I'd been doing too much production work, and I was fed up with it. And the manager said, I said, well, I certainly wouldn't be able to do anything till probably early in the new year. And he said, oh, well, in that case, could you send us a CV of your previous work, and also a compilation cassette if you have one? I said, well, actually, I'm not actually that kind of producer. In fact, I'm not very good. I just muddle through. And to my enormous relief, I found that got rid of them, because there's a lot of there's a lot of work involved in making an LP, you know.
Well, go on to your next song next. Graciously.
Yeah, this is a song from Hellbent on Compromise, my last LP, and it's kind of a ballad.
Graciously from the last Edwyn Collins album, and great privilege to be in the presence of the man tonight. I think sounding tremendous there, Edwyn. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, John. That's nice of you to say so.
Now, you've lived in London for a good many years, I guess. Did you move down there at the time of the sort of big success for Orange Juice in the 82, 83 era?
Yeah, it was largely through record company insistence, though usually, I haven't kowtowed to major record companies. But it was getting a bit of a pain in the arse, moving back and forth in the shuttle. And in the early 80s, unlike now, there wasn't the kind of support system there is for Scottish music up there now, There was kind of very little interest in Scottish music.
Would you say that you've accepted London now as your permanent home, or do you ever get any notions to move back up here?
Well, I mean, if I was going to move back up to Scotland, I would move back to the Highlands. I wouldn't move to a city, because much as I like Glasgow, and I particularly like the people in Glasgow, and I think one big metropolis is much the same as another. And I think it was Alan Horn who said, if you're tired of London, you're tired of life.
Yeah, believe I know the phrase all right. Yeah. I mean, I always find with London that I get notions to go down there for a few days, but once I've had about 5 or 6 days of it, I kind of want to come back up again. I don't know, but I think there is something in London that you need a shot of for a few days every so often, or there certainly is for me anyway.
Right.
And of course, your family there now, is it 2 children?
No, well, I have one child in London, though he was born in Govan,
Right.
So he's got red hair, so he's Scottish. I mean, I think that's one of the things I really do like about London. It's kind of a cosmopolitan community. And unlike now, where all over Europe, the kind of zeitgeist, and indeed in Scotland, with the despicable Alex Salmon, the trend seems to be for nationalism. I'm myself an internationalist, and socialism seems to have gone out of fashion of late, but I still think that there's room for all different kinds of cultures, and you should embrace other cultures.
How much time are you spending with your family these days? I mean, is there a lot of time with Edwyn Collins on the road, or a lot of time at home?
Well, actually, it's a lot of time with Edwyn Collins in the studio producing other groups. But having said that, I recently played at Reading with a group called the Rocking Birds. I've been involved with a label called Heavenly through my work with Vic Goddard of the Subway Sect, and I brought my son along to that, and he was actually dancing at the Rocking Birds Country Hoedown.
Well, I believe that the video of last year's Reading Festival gig's been released.
That's true, yeah. It's called Phantasmagoria, a fantastical series of moving images, and various promotional videos, which culminates in a riot.
Well, I mean, I think it was probably a good example of how not to organise an outdoor festival. How do you feel about that image appearing on video now? Are you quite happy about that?
Well, unlike most live concert videos, I'm just thankful for the fact that this actually has a beginning, a middle, and most importantly, an end, whereas most of them just have a beginning and a middle, if they're lucky,
Certainly, that's a very conclusive end, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good,
We'll take another song at this stage, Consolation Prize.
Okay, this is another song that's featured on Ostrich Churchyard. It's, well, as you said, Consolation Prize.
Consolation Prize from Edwyn Collins. Love that line in there about wearing your fringe like Roger McGuinn. I always fancied a pair of the sort of Roger McGuinn oblong sunglasses, but I never did pick them up, never mind. What kind of things do you listen to at home these days?
Well, it's funny that you should say that about the sunglasses, John, because when we actually recorded that for You Can't Hide Your Love Forever, I had a pair that had got in I think, the Paris market of the self-same glasses. And James Kirk, the other guitarist in the group, we had a 12-string Rickenbacker. He used to play them. But these days, to get back to your actual question, I don't know. I really like to. It's a bit old now, but last year, I think it was, I got given a gift of the Bob Dylan box set, the bootleg one.
Oh, that's tremendous, yeah.
I think that's great. I mean, I've also been doing recently some, acoustic sets in various parts of the country and abroad, and, just the man's kind of candour and warmth that I suppose has been an influence on these kind of sets. I mean, if you're going to aspire to do, music just one man in an acoustic, what greater precedent can you aspire to,
Absolutely. And of course, over the last couple of years, you've been touring with an old pal of yours, Roddy Frame.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Sometimes Roddy jams in my sets and sometimes I jam in his, so to speak.
You've kept together for a long time there.
Yeah, we've been together now for 12 years.
Man and boy.
Yeah. I mean, Roddy lives about a mile and a half away from me, so I quite often see him.
Now, something that we must go to here, this is going to be the sort of Anorak and fan-admirer type question next.
Right.
You're getting a lot of attention for the old material with the reissues and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If I was to say to you now, how would you feel about giving a quick off-the-cuff performance of something like Can't Help Myself? What would you say?
Well, it would be important. I mean, I've not rehearsed that one. I could try, but it's not really a song you can sit down in.
Well, is there another one you've got in mind that you could throw at us just before we go?
Well, I suppose the definitive Anorak song isn't actually one of my songs, although I sang it. It's a song that James wrote in the first lineup, and it's Felicity, so I could try that one.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Real live radio there, that's for sure. Long time since I heard that, and thanks for being a good sport.
Okay, John.
Brilliant set. Great to talk to you. Edwyn Collins,
Okay.
Many thanks for joining us tonight in Earshot. And just before we go, any new stuff on the way from you?
Well, yeah, apart from solo stuff, apart from this video, meaning to one of the reasons why I was saying earlier that I don't want to do too much production work is because I want to get on with my own stuff, and hopefully that'll be out in the new year too. I mean, I've written about 20 new songs, so it's time to get down to some hard self-indulgent work.
Something to look forward to for 1993.
Yeah.
Well, for tonight, thank you very much for a memorable session. Edwyn Collins.
Thanks, John. I enjoyed it.